Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to our 4:15 district staff meeting. I want to remind you that if you have questions as we go through this, please submit those in the chat portion and we will answer any question that you have. Dr. Carpenter is monitoring that, and so we'll make sure that we get those answered toward the end. Like always, I want to start off with a few MISD proud moments or items. We actually have a virtual groundbreaking, so that will be conducted through Zoom. Will be for Heritage High School for the expansion, which is planned for Tuesday, September 1st at 4:15. So that's next Tuesday at 4:15. We'll have board members and a few others present at the facility, but everyone else can join online through Facebook Live. Also, I encourage you just to continue utilizing the MISD Proud hashtag as you celebrate your students and families, posting pictures and just things that you're doing in the classroom. Let's just keep the positivity flowing, the great things happening. I started to say in our classrooms, but I guess in our virtual classrooms, the great things that are taking place. And then here in a couple of weeks, we will get to share that when students return face to face. I know last week, and I've done this probably several times over the last several months, but I mentioned the great work of our technology department. As I know you well know, we started off the first couple of days with some issues with our Region 10 provider, our vendor through Region 10, and also with Canvas and with Zoom. We had some issues with them, and so our technology team has been working around the clock to coordinate with them and make sure that everything is functioning properly. And so I just can't thank our technology department enough. I know that even with those issues going on, I know that behind the scenes we had many others down there working on our call center and answering questions for each of you and answering questions for our parents and students. And so it's been nonstop, I know, for the first few days of our virtual learning. So I continue to thank them, and I'm amazed every day by the amount of work that they're able to do and get questions answered and problem solve for our parents and staff. The other group that I also want to acknowledge, which has been a big part of that, are our iCoaches, which are also playing a big role in kind of the frontline work with our technology situation, working with Zoom and Eduphoria and things that are going on Promethean boards and working with you as teachers in the classrooms to help accessing instructional materials and Canvas. And a lot of times you're doing that before it ever gets presented to the technology team or presented through our call center. So thank you for what you're doing. I know many of you are putting in many hours and working very late. So once again, incredible job by our iCoaches, our technology team, and of course our teachers and the things that you're doing in a world that you're not used to working in. So thank you for your flexibility and working through that and providing a great experience for our kids. I've heard nothing but great things from our parents and our students, and many teachers have talked about how smoothly it's gone. So thank you for that, and just keep up the great work. I know we're providing a great environment for our kids, but we're all looking forward to the next week and a half or so when we get to see our kids back face to face, or many of our kids back face to face. Few items I want to address today. Just first of all, our enrollment has been very close to where we were in May. The most important number, the number that we're really monitoring, are the students engaged each day. So I want to thank you to the effort of our teachers that we've increased that number of engagement, percentage of engaged every day. There's still a handful of students that have not been participating, and I know that you continue to reach out. You're you're calling them. You're sending messages through our learning management systems, but please continue to reach out to them on a daily basis. On Monday, we had about 1.5% of our students reported as not being engaged, and today we were about 1.35%. So please reach out and get those kids involved and really check that if they're submitting assignments, if they're responding, if they're logging into Zoom. Please make sure that we get those kids counted present for at least interacting with us on a daily basis. Just one other item, kind of totally different track here, but we have several openings right now for bus drivers and custodians. So if you know someone that is seeking employment and could fill these positions, please reach out to Mr. Norris with the name, or please at least help us spread the word that we need drivers and we need custodians. Many of you are aware that we, as a result of COVID, we've increased our safety protocols. We've increased what we're doing on campuses as far as cleaning and hygiene and different things. So please, with that, we added custodial positions, I guess is where I'm going with that. So if you know someone, we have spots that we would like to get filled. They're just difficult to find. So please spread the word and share that with Mr. Norris. Also, we have a board workshop next Tuesday at 5:30. We'll be focusing on student achievement, kind of looking at the past history of where we are as a district and our plans moving forward. I'll be spending some time with the board on that. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to our HR department and Dr. Heathcote. Dr. Heathcote.
Hello, everybody. So we notified principals yesterday that we've made some changes, but we received a lot of feedback on the rules around paid tutoring opportunities that we discussed during the HR and ethics training. So we took your feedback and we've made some adjustments. Our revised rules now state that you may offer paid tutoring outside of the school day to students who attend the school you work at, but are not in the grade level that you teach. So as you know, class changes are sometimes necessary within a grade level. Therefore, you can't tutor students who are in the grade level where you're currently assigned. So you are able to offer paid tutoring to students who are in the grade that you teach, but they would need to attend a different Midlothian school. If you do offer paid tutoring of any type, you do still need to notify your principal in writing. And prior to notifying them in writing, I'd really recommend that you speak with your principal first, just to ensure that there's not a conflict of interest for yourself or for the district. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Heathcote. Just one other item I wanted to mention. I know everyone knows, and I think I just mentioned a little bit earlier, that on September the 8th, we begin our transition back to face-to-face, so a little bit over a week from next Tuesday. And so we've had some questions about transportation and food service. So if you get those questions, just please let everyone know that we will be running our routes, all of our bus routes on that day, even though we will be alternating the number of students in class. So we'll have A through L on the first day and then M through Z on the second day. So, but we will run all routes. We'll have our campus kitchens up and running. So food service will be like a typical normal day. And this is once again going to give us an opportunity to practice all of our new protocols with drop off and pick up, food, our cafeterias and our transportation system. So please let everybody know though that those will be running in full operation on those days starting the 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. And then we'll have everyone here again on the 14th, everyone that selected the face-to-face option on the 14th. So that's all I have for today. At this point, I'm gonna turn it over to Dr. Carpenter and see if we've had any questions. Oh, I'm sorry, hang on. That's not true. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Garicani, our technology department, to address a couple of things, and then I'll turn it over to Dr. Carpenter.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Ledbetter, and good afternoon, Midlothian ISD and teachers and staff. I just want to echo briefly the sentiments that Dr. Ledbetter shared. We see you guys working so hard, everything that you're doing, navigating this quote unquote new normal. And so while I appreciate all the applause and the pats on the back and the emails flowing to our technology team here, you guys are the real heroes, and we know it, and we know that you're working through it. Acquisition of all of the tools and getting them to you, I know that's not been an easy road, so we appreciate you guys. I know the first couple of days, day one with the 10 gig circuit to Region 10, dropping packets, we had 2,500 phone calls come in the virtual call center that day. That created a backlog of over 800 voicemails. And so we've been working hard to work through those voicemails. We've got that number down to 450 just in the last day. We were able to get down to 450. The calls are more manageable now. I think we're up to close to 700 for today. And of course, day two was some challenges. And of course, day three on Monday, Zoom had some interruptions and Canvas had some interruptions. So once again, you guys are the real heroes. We know you are just kind of rolling with the punches. Real quick on engagement. So we noticed some parents, not many, but some parents expressing a little bit of frustration about their kid being counted absent. I was not aware of this, but the information systems group reminded me. So parents have the ability to log into the PowerSchool parent portal, and they can put a check in a box that basically notifies them for any changes at all to their student information. And that includes absenteeism. And so if you're coding a kid as absent because they didn't join you in your synchronous class, that parent's getting a notification, and that may be causing some heartburn for you. So just a recommendation, maybe you just leave it blank. And then once that kid is engaged with you, then you go in and code them as remote asynchronous. And then of course, if they were in fact absent, then you would code them appropriately as well. So that's just a recommendation. All the secondary teachers out there, if you're doing your Eduphoria assessments, I had several emails directly from students today. It's actually kind of fun, but although I can't respond to all of them, but I had several emails directly from some students today. They were being prompted for a password when they go to take the Eduphoria assessment. We did confirm with curriculum that that password is all lowercase MISD. So if you want to share that with your students, that may be helpful as well. And then webcams. So we have about half the webcams are in. So we're going to start at some point next week. I wish I could tell you the day, but we're trying to get back to parents on calls, because we don't want to keep hearing that calls aren't being returned. So we're trying to beat that number down. But we will at some point begin installation of webcams next week. So that's all I have. I'm going to kind of monitor the chat. You were told not to leave it blank for attendance. Okay. That may have been coming from your campus. Just know that if you code them absent, if you're not hearing from parents, we're probably going to hear from them because they're, as a parent, they're thinking their kid's engaged. So just, I'll have our people get with your attendance clerks, and then ultimately we'll meet with principals tomorrow. I'll continue to monitor the chat and turn it back over to Dr. Ledbetter. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Garicani. All right, Dr. Carpenter, I'm going to turn it over to you. I see a handful of questions here.
Yes, a couple of them were answered back there. I know Dr. Heathcote was just finalizing that answer. The question was if a fine arts or a coach who taught several across the campus, but was on the tutoring question. Dr. Heathcote, do you want to answer that for us?
Yeah, for sure. So if the student's in a different grade level, but the content is the same, then you can still offer paid tutoring opportunities for that. But if you coach the student, or you're a dance teacher or a band director or something like that, and they're in your class, you cannot offer paid opportunities for them. If you have specific questions, though, you need to reach out to your principal. And if your questions aren't answered there, feel free to contact me. But really, your principals are in contact with me, and we talk about all of those different situations. But we'll look into any of them. But let's just check first to make sure that there's no conflict of interest.
Okay. Thank you. The only other one we had, which is a great question, talking about the transition week, September 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. The question, and we've heard this a little bit, I don't have a final answer yet. We're working through that with Department of Learning and the campus administrators. But the question is, the days the students are not on campus, will virtual learning continue? Will we have the synchronous and asynchronous? How's that going to work when we're transitioning students? So great question. That information is forthcoming. So just know that we'll be communicating that in the coming days. But thank you for that question. That's all we have.
Okay, then that is all we had on the agenda for today. So that concludes our staff meeting. Thank you for all that you're doing. Keep up the great work and have a wonderful evening.